little recipe is a super simple jam to keep in the fridge, but to make it, we don't need any fruit. Before we get into the ingredients, like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way we can make even more few ingredient recipes together. So the ingredients that we need are shallots, sugar, and any vinegar you have around. So the first step, and arguably the hardest part of this recipe, is chopping 2 pounds of shallots. So we are gonna get started on that. I just took these out of the freezer. Just like onions, shallots have a bad habit of making you cry. And our columnist, Nick Sharma, he actually just published an article about why that happens, the science behind it, and how to make it stop. So if you have goggles, that will really come in handy for this recipe. I don't. Another thing you can do is stick them in the freezer for like 30, 45 minutes and just get them a little bit cold, and that will lessen the crying effect. These have been sitting out probably a little longer than they should have, so we'll see what happens. I might cry a little bit. So whenever I'm chopping a lot of onions or shallots, it's really nice to keep a mixing bowl nearby. This way you can collect the ends and the peels. It just makes cleanup a lot easier. Are you crying? Do you feel it?
No, that's not getting me at all.
Oh, but you're wearing contacts.
Oh.
Oh.
It's an emotional journey.
I know. Let us know in the comments what tricks you use when you are chopping onions and shallots so that you aren't crying like a baby, like me. Okay. I need a tissue. So I have a high-sided big saute pan that I am setting over medium heat. And I'm just gonna add a drizzle of neutral oil, whatever you have, vegetable, canola, grapeseed, avocado, it'll all be fine here. Just enough to like thinly coat the bottom. And once that heats up, we are gonna add our shallots. So I am adding 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, which is just gonna help the shallots sweat down. And at this point, I'm gonna cover them. We'll let them cook covered for about 10 minutes, stirring every so often so nothing burns. This will just help them wilt down a lot faster because of the steam. So that's it. See you in 10. So the shallots have been sweating for like 10 minutes. I'm gonna give them a quick stir. There are already some browned bits on the bottom, which is really nice to scrape up because that's where a ton of the flavor is gonna be. And at this point, we're gonna drop the heat to like medium low to slow down the browning. So it's like a nice leisurely caramelization. And we are going to add a splash of water. That is also gonna help with picking up all that fond at the bottom, and the sugar for our jam. So this is gonna cook for like 30-ish minutes now. If the shallots start to like aggressively stick or the browning is getting like a little bit too much, just add like a tiny splash of water, like a tablespoon, half a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons, whatever feels right in the moment. Deglaze up those bits. This way it doesn't get too dry at any point. So the onions, do you hear me saying it?
Oh yeah.
The shallots have been going for about 30 minutes. They look so good. They have a beautiful caramelized color. They smell amazing. We didn't add any water because every time I stirred it, whatever was sticking to the bottom was able to release up on its own. At this point, we are going to add in the vinegar. So I am using malt vinegar. That's really nice in a shallot jam like this. Whatever vinegar you have will be really nice here. We are gonna add 4 tablespoons at this point. We're gonna cook this for another like 10 to 15 minutes until the jam is like the jamminess that you are looking for. It's also gonna like really infuse the vinegar into those shallots. Yeah, I'm just gonna let it do its thing. If you need water in this stage, just add a little bit water to deglaze, and that'll help the jam along if it's needed. Our shallot jam is all done cooking. At this point, I'm gonna stir in the rest of our vinegar. I'm gonna turn off the heat. So this last dose of vinegar, it's only getting cooked by the residual heat. This is gonna bring like a really nice acidity and tanginess to the jam, which I think really underscores that it's a savory jam too. Okay, perfect. Ah! Oh my God. God, it gets me every time. So now at this point, I am going to taste it. Be careful because it's hot and sugar can be really hot. Okay, it's fine. I'm gonna add a little more salt, just like a little more salt, just a pinch. And then I think it's perfect. I don't think we need any more vinegar. Now, as the jam cools, it'll stiffen up a little bit. At that point, if it's a little thicker than you want, you can loosen it with water or vinegar and get it to the texture that you want. And that's it. Our shallot jam is done. I'm just gonna let it cool a little bit and then stick it in a jar. So we let our shallot jam cool down for okay. So we let our shallot jam cool down for a little bit. I just stuck it in an empty jar that I had in the cabinet, and I'm going to put it in the fridge. So because we're not like properly canning this, it is a refrigerator jam. It will be great in there for a couple weeks, and you can use it on so many things. It's perfect on a cheese plate. If you're making pork chops or something like sausages, it's really nice with that, just on the side to eat with the meat. Or my very favorite thing is a grilled cheese. This has been our big little shallot jam, which you can put on so many things, especially a grilled cheese. Let me know in the comments what you are putting the shallot jam on, and I'll talk to you next time.